Oh, guard your eyeballs. This is Atari 50, the Steam version running in Windows, and I didn't plan to do another Pac-Man episode 2 days in a row, but it just came to my attention that there was a Pac-Man DLC for Atari 50 a month and a half ago. That was in mid-November. So we've got this elaborate timeline thing. And if you go down to the end, so here's 2 DLCs I don't have. Here's the new DLC that I bought. Okay, very fancy UI here. We start with a shot of young Masaya Nakamura founding what would become Namco, Nakamura Manufacturing Company. I guess that's what Namco is abbreviated from, right? In 1955. Operating mechanical horse rides for children on the rooftop of a department store. Are they on the rooftop there? I've seen this photo before, I think, and I thought it was on the rooftop, but I don't actually know. I was there to welcome the mothers of the children as they arrived. That's kind of a cute logo. So this is talking about them making coin-operated amusement machines in 1977. Not video games, though. Or wait, in 1971? Okay, 1971. These weren't video games. These would have been actual, mechanical doohickeys. Changed the name to Namco in 77. Oh, but it was using the Namco branding on some of the machines instead. Oh, and there it is in that poster. Oh, that's a 77 poster announcing its new name. I guess it was just easier to write on the machines, than Nakamura Manufacturing Company. There's a video interview here with, what's his name? Atari guy, Nolan Bushnell, is that it? Yeah.
We had Atari Japan.
I haven't watched this.
Ended up selling to Namco.
Yeah, so anyway, Atari made a Japanese division, and it didn't go well, and I don't think they cover that here. Maybe it's in the video, I don't know. Let's try scrolling ahead a bit.
We actually started it by...
I don't know who that guy is, that other young guy.
Full of money, cash. And we rented a building, and we hired people. We could sell it.
Too much space?
Kids wouldn't have their friends over. There wasn't a place. Homes were too small.
Doesn't sound like they cover it. Oh, I don't... Okay, so anyway... and they don't go into it here. This is a quote from Nakamura, though, about poor maintenance and the selection of inappropriate locations. Well, according to the... I think it was from the Game Over, How Nintendo Conquered the World book. The actual problem was that, well, at least one of the actual problems was that employees were stealing stuff from the business. I mean, Atari Japan's own employees were stealing stuff. It was just this big, bootlegging operation of their own stuff or something. I don't know. And I didn't realize this, that Namco's first video games were Pong machines, according to this. That's in 73. Kind of cool looking machines, kind of, futuristic looking. Quadra-Pong? I wonder, I've never seen Quadra-Pong. This is a cool photo. Let's see, okay. So 74, and I went over some of this stuff in the big Namco / Tengen / Nintendo episode I did a week or probably 2 weeks ago or something. I went through a big timeline of stuff because, this was just part of it. So, Nakamura, the Japanese guy standing up right next to the Atari Japan Corporation sign there with the glasses on, he was kind of fascinated with Atari, and he would come back to it later too. So he bought Atari Japan, which was in trouble at the time, as I was saying. And it doesn't say this in the caption here, but the guy next to him there is Hideyuki Nakajima, the guy on the far right. And that was the guy who had sort of ended up being the head of Atari Japan after the previous boss of Atari Japan just stopped showing up for work. I mean, that's how bad it had gotten there. So Nakajima was in charge of it at the point where Nakamura bought Atari Japan from Atari. Nakajima would go on to be an executive at Namco, and he got along. Well, Nakamura kind of took a liking to Nakajima, and so when Namco wanted to expand into the States, Nakamura made Nakajima president of Namco of America, and Nakajima would eventually, and then, well, I think we'll get to that because in this timeline even because, well, I guess let's see, but Nakajima is an important player because he kind of loops back to Atari as well. That's all there is there, I guess. Breakout, okay. Nakamura in Pebble Beach. I'm really just here for Pac-Man, I suppose. That's why I'm skipping all this other stuff. So here's Pac-Man, the first name of Pac-Man. It's 1980. This is a cool photo because it's Pac-Man creator Toru Iwatani on the left. Big smile. And that's Nakamura on the right. And that's a Pac-Man machine. Whoops. Nakamura is a very solid-looking figure there. But I love Iwatani's big smile. Good old Pac-Man. Of course, the legend goes that they changed the name because they thought Pac-Man would be too easy for kids to deface into a bad word by just scrubbing out part of the P, you know. This is kind of fun because you can, let's see here, you can rotate this. So this is a mock-up of the Pac-Man cartridge for what year was that? 82, so 2 years after Pac-Man's creation. There was an Atari, well, it says VCS here. It's what would come to be known as the Atari 2600 when they started having, like, more than one model. Back in the day, it was just the Atari. And, it says 8 video games, and that confused me at first, but that will be apparent what that means when we actually get to playing. This says copyright 1981, but I guess it didn't actually hit stores until 82, maybe. It's your job to keep Pac-Man as happy as possible. Oh, look at that special. So there's this bear on the front, special feature. That's a top special feature. This game program, TM, they trademarked game program, contains additional versions for young children. It's your job to keep Pac-Man as happy as possible. You must guide him around the maze so that he can eat video wafers, and power pills. Protect him from the ghosts unless he has the super strength of a power pill. If he does have the super strength, it's a kind of clunky way of saying it. Help him chase the ghosts and gobble them up before they gobble him. This Atari game program TM cartridge. Sunnyvale, California, Warner Communications Company. So Warner owned Atari even at that point. But this is when Atari was huge. This was just pre-crash. This was 82. Now they say, and this of course is not mentioned here, that Pac-Man, some people say that Pac-Man kind of helped lead to the crash, the video game crash in North America of 83, or I think it was 83. Pac-Man sold 8 million copies. 8 million copies on the Atari. I think that was the 2600 version. Maybe it was all versions. Anyway, 8 million copies. But it got pretty much savaged in the reviews, which I think is also not covered in this timeline. Surprise, surprise. And wait, did Atari buy Digital Eclipse? Digital Eclipse made this. I think they did, right? I'm looking this up on Wikipedia right now. Digital Eclipse. Yeah, Atari did buy Digital Eclipse, the makers of this. So they're very much towing the official company line here and not mentioning things like the bad reviews it got. But it sold 8 million, so, you know, people had enough Pac-Man fever that they bought it. But the theory is that it was seen as a bad port by, you know, reviewers. And it was just, some people see it as part of the flood of bad games that led to people thinking of the Atari as just a junk platform. Another part of this theory goes that because it sold so well despite being a bad game, you know, quote unquote bad game, it's not an accurate port of the arcade game. We can definitely say that much anyway. It sort of taught Atari the wrong lesson. It taught them that they could make bad games and they would still sell like gangbusters if they had a big franchise attached. So then Atari, this is how the theory goes, Atari then felt free to make a bad E.T. game, and of course E.T. is sort of called the worst game of all time and supposedly ended up in landfills, you know, millions of copies in landfills because nobody would buy it. So, like, although Pac-Man was bought, E.T., which was manufactured at huge volume, did not sell well, and that crashed Atari and the whole market, and it was sort of enabled by Pac-Man because they thought it would sell as well as Pac-Man, even though, you know, it wasn't a good game. These people who are of this opinion also, some apparently they count Pac-Man as like the second worst game of all time. Atari 2600 Pac-Man. Let's see if I can do this button right. So this is kind of cool because you can see more artwork. Does it say the artist's name? Oh no, not here. I think it does somewhere. That actually looks kind of, I mean, the lips there make me think Miss Pac-Man, you know? French one. Oh, well, you know, what is called Atari, these games used to be Infragrames, which is a French company, right? So I figure they slip in a little French here on us. That's an interesting anatomy of Pac-Man there. Like how many of those little balls can fit inside his hollow insides. They spelled Pac-Man there with no hyphen. That's kind of scary. There's hyphens in dotty dot though. Oh wow. It's just like, I don't know what language this is. I could guess, but I would, oh wait. It's looking Scandinavian, maybe. Look at that. That Pac-Man head just like mainlining dots, I guess. Like the rectangular Atari Pac-Man dots. That's kind of psycho. I like that. He's heading out for Monte Carlo. Forget this stuff. What the heck is Alga Vision? It says Alga and Atari. What's Alga Vision? Is that a store? Game store? They do have an interview with Todd Fry here, the programmer. He apparently had 6 months to make the game, which, you know, considering
We had a...
like it wasn't a huge game and it was a port, so you know, 6 months would probably have been a typical time, really, except this was sort of a, you know, a huge game, so some people, I guess, would think that they should have given it more time. I like how they've blurred out whatever his shirt said. What would it say that Atari would feel the need to blur it out? So he had 6 months. I think the bigger problem for him was that he only had 4K to work with. They were using these 4 kilobyte cartridges for the game, even though Atari by that point had developed 8 kilobyte cartridges. They you know, those cost more to make or whatever, so they were going with 4K. So he only had 4K to work with, and it was pretty limiting. There's a video on YouTube you can find of him checking out a homebrew Pac-Man that you know, fans made for the Atari 2600 later, that was on an 8K cartridge, and it runs a lot better and stuff. And he's just like, wow, this is cool. And he's like, oh man, they thought of stuff, programming tricks and stuff that I didn't think of. This is so cool. So he's like, and like apparently he's kind of beloved in the Atari community for being a straight up guy who's just, you know, he's enthusiastic about it. He actually loves this stuff. But at the same time, people pillory the game that he, you know, had to make under difficult conditions back then. That's my impression anyway. I haven't sat and watched these videos because I guess I hate sitting through these videos. Here's Digital Eclipse talking to him. That's a younger Fry there.
The Friday before the Monday that I started.
I wanted to see that.
Up and left name on the... So a couple left of the...
I'm not sure what this video is. It's about like the $1 million he got in a bonus turned out to be double-edged sword. Yeah, well, tough luck, you know. National Pac-Man Day. So there was this huge marketing push and stuff, and I mean, I guess it worked because they sold 8 million copies, even though all the reviewers were like, oh, it's a terrible game. Terrible port. Man, that dot's just going right into him. An editorial. Uh-huh. TV commercial, do we really? I mean, I'm sure that's on YouTube. I guess it was an exclusive on Atari at that point. So this is confusing. It's confusing in if you go into the game library after you buy the DLC and you're using the default sorting method, it shows you the Atari 2600 version first, then it shows you the Atari 5200 version, then it shows you the Atari 800 version, or 400/800, but as we see in the timeline here, it's actually the Atari 400/800 version for their home computers that came out first. And they actually look, those two versions look very similar. The Atari 400 and the Atari 5200 versions look similar, but they don't. This one is a lot slower, and like 2 of the 4 ghosts don't really have a brain or something, apparently. I saw somebody on YouTube saying we can try to take a look at that. There's a lot less flashy marketing speak on this one. All it really says is play the arcade game at home. I guess that's all you kind of need to say. Be sure to keep your eyes open for tasty bonus nuggets. Don't we all want a tasty bonus nugget? So they had a meaty 16K of RAM to play with here. Oh, here's the illustrations. What's the Hiro Kimura? So he was at Atari. Not a Namco guy, I guess. This is kind of wild. Original unused concept. Like he was just a silver robot looking thing. I mean, obviously that's not really on model or anything. And the ghosts are these huge, like, what's that kid's book? It's just these big monsters. And it's like, oh, maybe we'll draw something that looks a little more like Pac-Man, but now he's eating like these gummy wafers. Rectangular wafers. Oh, this one was actually used on some of the boxes. That's kind of cute. And then they're like, I'll just make it look like Pac-Man. It's easy to draw. Like, oh, okay, well, that didn't take long. I've seen this. Yeah, I've seen this on Moby Games game boxes. I guess it was on some of the 8-bit computer boxes. Oh, there's a signature down there in the lower left even. Or the name anyway. Now the wafers look more like hamburgers. And it comes back to the sort of, you know, long-limbed character. You like that concept, I guess. Used in the manual. All these wacky Pac people, look at those hats. Kind of militaristic. Pac people taking over the world. It was kind of weird, like somebody just drew him more strung out, like drew over it or something. It's still got the same signature on it. I mean, it's a pretty thorough redraw on Pac-Man's face, or whole body, really. Probably the same artist. We don't have to see that. Okay, that's other games. So the 5200 version. See, now that Pac-Man looks more like... Oh, no, that was the same box, wasn't it? Yeah, okay. 8 skill levels. That's like the 2600 box has 8 games. You're like, what? Master the maze to earn the key and a whopping 5,000 bonus points. See, so this says it was based on the computer version. They mean the one that they call in here the Pac-Man 400/800 version, but it played much faster. And it has the intermission scenes, which the earlier versions didn't. Now, they do show you a review of the 5200 version. They don't show any reviews of the The 2600 version. I wonder why. So wait, does that mean they gave it 3 out of 4 stars or 4 out of 3 stars or what? And this is probably a rare review that didn't mention the earlier versions being, quote unquote, much worse. And they only dinged it because of the analog joystick that they had. So, let's see why Atari was happy to show you this review. That might be all of the Pac-Man stuff here. Oh, they don't go into it. Okay, so I'll just finish my brain dump since we're already dumped a bunch of it. So Masaya Nakamura, the Japanese guy with the glasses, and Hideyuki Nakajima, the other Japanese guy there, the guy on the far right. So I mentioned that Nakajima is made the first president of Namco of America when that's created. And was it through Namco of America? Anyway, Namco ends up buying Atari Games in, what the heck year is it by then? Was that like 84 or something? 83 or 84, I forget. Anyway, so Namco, and that's the old arcade arm of Atari. They were sort of split up and sold separately by Warner Brothers. Jack Tramiel, previously of Commodore, buys the other half, which is called Atari Corporation, and that's the home system side of Atari. So Namco only gets the arcade division essentially, but they buy the old arcade division of Atari. It's called Atari Games at that point. And so Nakajima is kind of running that. Nakamura ends up not being too excited about how it's looking. And he wants to sell it, and they do end up selling it to a group of Atari Games' own employees. Or, well, they sell enough of the stock so that Atari Games becomes independent, because nobody then has a majority of the stock. Warner still has 40%, Namco has 40%, and the Atari employees have 20%. So they're independent at that point, but at the same time, Nakajima, in what seems to me to have been a pre-planned move with Nakajima resigns as president of Namco of America and is made, I guess by the employees, the president of Atari Games. And Nakamura is the chairman of the board of Atari Games. Atari Games goes on to make a division called Tengen, because Atari Games, remember, they're the arcade arm of Atari. They don't have license to sell games under the name brand Atari for home systems. That's the sole right of Atari Corporation, the consumer side of the company that was split up and sold separately. So they make a brand called Tengen, and they end up selling unlicensed by Nintendo games for Nintendo's Nintendo Entertainment System in the States, and get into this huge legal battle with Nintendo over that, because they're not playing Nintendo's licensee game. They're just selling games straight to consumers, or straight, through stores to consumers, without giving Nintendo their cut. And this seems to me all to have been orchestrated by Namco to try to break Nintendo's iron grasp at that point on the North American market. So that was those two guys doing that, and it fails. It failed, but they gave it a shot. And so they were selling well, first they put out a licensed version of Pac-Man for NES, but then they put out an unlicensed version that was the same darn game, but it was just without Nintendo's seal of approval. They did a similar thing with Miss Pac-Man. I think, or wait. Now I can't remember if they put it. I guess they didn't put out a licensed. No, they didn't put out a licensed version of Pac-Man or Miss Pac-Man. Their version was always the unlicensed one, which is a very good version of Miss Pac-Man, and I've got that. I've acquired that recently. I've been playing that. Anyway, so that's kind of that. So that's how they sort of came back to Atari and did more stuff with Pac-Man. Anyway, I think that's kind of a cool story. Although it didn't work out well for them. Oops, no, don't quit. Okay. Let's just go check out the games that they gave us. God, I kind of hate this interface. No. Okay. Sort by. Okay. So we'll start with the original Atari version. 8 video games, and we'll see what that means here. Gobble up video wafers. 2-player alternating play. It was the only official Pac-Man game on the Atari 2600. What does that mean? Is there another Pac-Man game on the 2600? And okay, so here you notice at the top it says select game variation. This is not like, it's just way off in the corner. You actually activated this by throwing, if you know what the Atari 2600 video game physical console looked like with its wood grain and stuff, it had these kind of, shiny steel looking levers along the back of the top of the console. And so apparently you threw those in different combinations to select these different skill levels, I guess. So the default is called Slow Pac-Man. Wait, is that the default? Yeah. Slow Pac-Man 1P Ghost move at jogging speed. This seems very hard to parse, but so I'm going to set it to... And then you've got these settings for young children, this slower ghost speed, ghost crawl. But I'm going to set it to fast Pac-Man 1P ghost move at running speed. Of course, if you wanted it easier, you would go with the fast Pac-Man slow ghost, but I just want it to run faster than the default speed, although it still doesn't run very fast. And there's also this kind of funny toggle for TV mode, so you can have it simulate running on a black and white television, where of course you can't tell the ghost colors apart, but you can't really tell the ghost colors apart anyway because the flicker is so bad. Like, I think it was only drawing one ghost at a time, so it's basically drawing each ghost only gets drawn every 4 frames or something, so that's why they all flicker so badly. And in fact, I find that I think turning the filter on seems to help the flicker a little bit. I don't know if that's just because there's sort of other stuff between your eyeballs and the flickering sprites, or if it's doing a little like phosphor trail where it leaves a tiny bit of an after image, but I don't usually use the darn filter option here, but I do for this. It seems to help a little. The main thing I don't like about this Atari collection is that, well, I guess it is that even with like screen mode set to original, which just shrinks it down a bit, I guess it's supposedly a exact multiple of some kind of pixel size, but of course the pixels were all not square computer pixels, so it doesn't matter. It's always blurry. It's always slightly blurry no matter what settings you pick. So that kind of sucks. But anyway, let's there's a lot of input delay on these games. I did try I did try checking them out in another setting, shall we say, and they still had input lag, so I'm pretty sure it's not like a case of bad. Oh, see, did you see how oh god, the ghost turned pink at the end of the power pellets, or right before the end of the power pellets thing? So I kind of like that where you can tell, but I think they felt they had to do that because it's so hard to see. I love these double dots right there because of how the resolution worked out for where they could place dots. Oh god, I mean, it's really hard to play because there is laggy input, and then the ghosts have like huge collision boxes or something, so they can tag you without even having to visibly touch you. Oh, the input. I actually have memories of playing this as a kid at a classmate's house. And I was thinking it could have been because I was classmates with her starting in first grade, and I was born in 74, and I've read that kids are like 6 to 7 years old in first grade, and I had actually skipped kindergarten, so I was probably 6. In 1980, well, so I would have been 6 in 1982, and that would have probably been when I was in first grade. So I could have been playing this at the time because the game came out in 82, and I was really turned off. I remember being really turned off by the game and just thinking that it didn't look as cool as the arcade game. I must have seen the arcade game by then. I just didn't think it, it had some problems as far as I remember feeling about it. The other weird thing is that they moved the tunnel to the top and bottom, and it takes a while to go through. You can't see yourself at all. I don't know if you have to keep pushing forward. Oh, and the fruits aren't fruits anymore. They're just a square. Oh no, you don't have to keep pushing. It travels through automatically. Pac-Man doesn't turn up or down when he's moving up or down. I mean, they were so limited on memory. But I normally don't like really any Atari 2600 games, so I guess the fact that I find this playable is kind of something. It's really hard. I even kind of like these goofy sounds. I guess you get sound when the eyeballs are traveling, but for the rest of the time you don't have any sound from the ghost. Ah, I meant to go down. Oh. Do. Let me get some more tasty wafers. Oh, and then when you go to another level, it's just instant. There's no sound, no nothing, just all the dots reset. When you're eating a bunch of dots, the sound is just kind of crazy. Ah, see there, they flicker pink before they turn back to attacking you. But I mean, can you tell that you can barely see, like, I think there's one green ghost. That's the thing too, these games, they don't use blue for a ghost. They don't have blue inky. They have a green ghost instead of a blue ghost. Maybe the problem was the blue. Hey, I got them all. Might have looked too similar to how the ghosts look in color when they're edible. Oh, the input delay. I should have known. The other thing is that the score, you get like 1 point for eating a dot, so it's like, I think in the arcade version you get 10 points, right? So it's like the score is like 10 times lower than in the arcade version. Oh, I didn't get the special block treat. Well, I don't know how much you get for eating the ghosts. I didn't have the numbers firmly in my head there. 30. I don't know. I can't do math that fast. Uh-oh. And of course the maze is completely different because they couldn't fit the original maze into this low resolution. It's just this silly sort of network of square cells. Or rectangular cells. Uh-oh, I've left wafers scattered all over here. I looked at so another thing that is maybe not quite conspicuously absent, but absent from this version, from this DLC, maybe I should say, are the other Pac games that Atari published on the Atari 2600. Well, so let's see here. So you notice this DLC for two of the games, it has the arcade version. It's got the arcade version of Dig Dug. And, wait a second. Where are the other games? I guess I haven't even launched the other games in this pack, so that's why it's not showing them. It also sucks because when you sort by year, it still doesn't sort chronologically within that year, so it's still showing this version before the earlier 5200 version. Wait a second. No, it's all backwards in another way. Anyway, that's annoying. So it's got the arcade version of Dig Dug, this DLC, and the arcade version of Xevious, but that's it. And I guess the reason for that is that those were the only two arcade versions of these games that were published by, originally published for the arcade by Atari, because it was actually Namco themselves who published, or no, it was Midway who published Pac-Man in the arcade, for instance. So that's why that isn't here. But also not here are the other Pac-Man or Pac Family games for Atari systems, because later Atari published 3 versions of Miss Pac-Man. There was Miss Pac-Man for the 2600, for the 5200, and the 7800. And then there was Junior Pac-Man. I always thought it was Pac-Man Junior, but I guess it's Junior Pac-Man for just for the 2600. Later versions were, I guess, in preparation, but they were scrapped when something happened. I mean, by that was like later 80s, and things weren't going so well. Anyway, and I've checked those out, and the only one I kind of felt like I clicked with was the Miss Pac-Man for the 2600. Like the later versions, they look a little more like the arcade version, but they don't really feel that good. Anyway, they aren't in here. So that's kind of too bad. But they were actually those other Pac games, and I mean, I think one reason why they aren't in here might be because those games were made by General Computer Corporation, who are at the time, the hackers who made bootleg, who sort of hacked arcade Pac-Man to create Miss Pac-Man and then Junior Pac-Man in the first place for arcade systems. And in fact, General Computer Corporation are also the people who designed the Atari 7800 itself. But Namco has always resented having to pay royalties to them So Namco is basically trying to make the world forget that Miss Pac-Man and Junior Pac-Man exist. So that's all probably why they aren't here. Although, funnily enough, you can still pick up Miss Pac-Man on Steam in the arcade game series. Bunch of games. They haven't delisted that one, so maybe get that one while you still can, because you can actually extract a version of the arcade ROM from it and run that in MAME or something. Anyway, let's go back to Pac-Man. You're on the 2600. The one thing that I was not into with Miss Pac-Man, and Atari heads apparently say that those are much better 2600 games than Pac-Man was. But like the ghosts in Miss Pac-Man still flicker, but not nearly as much as this. But between stages in Miss Pac-Man, the screen flashes white. Or nearly white. I think it's more or less white, which is not so great if you have eyes that you have made too sensitive to light by not getting enough sleep over the years and sitting in poorly lit areas for years. Anyway, so I'm staying, I mean, like, in theory, I could get those original Atari game cartridges for those games and get an add-on board for my kit-based SANI cart reader that would let me dump those Atari game carts and then play them in an emulator or something on the computer, but that's kind of a rabbit hole I don't think I'm going to go down, because none of them really seem to play, like, really well or anything. Like, the controls are just kind of sluggish, and of course the graphics are what they are. But I don't know, this game, it actually kind of plays... You know, it's not Pac-Man, it's not arcade Pac-Man or anything like it, really, except in, like, the almost barest abstract terms. Oh my gosh, the kill detection on the ghosts. But, I don't know, there's something fun about this game. Like, I don't really like playing very many. I mean, I have this collection, right, but I don't really like any of the base 2600 games that it came with. But no, I don't think I tried them all. But this is actually pretty playable. Now, the problem is, if I really get to liking it, I will want to get the equipment to try to dump a cartridge of it. Hopefully I won't be inspired that much, because I really don't want to get into that. Ow! Oh my gosh, look at that hit detection. Wow. Okay, I haven't been keeping track. Now, this game also, you know, they didn't have enough horsepower to track the high score or anything, so I don't know. Okay, let's go for some score now. Let's see what we can get. Yeah, 433 after eating all 4 ghosts, which in the arcade version would have been 1,600 points just for the ghosts. I juked the heck out of those ghosts. They don't know where I am. Uh-oh, I'm gonna get in trouble. Okay. I love that. Those two dots with no space between in the center column. You guys are getting worked. Oh, now you aren't even gonna chase me up there. Come on. Oh my goodness. Ah. Yeah, 1,076 points. The power pellet changes to red sometimes. Oh, it's the same color. Like, I think it turned to red when... Oh, wow. When the ghosts were about to change back to normal. Oh, no, oh, wait. I thought that was the last dot. Holy cow. I almost screwed up. I mean, screwed up. I love it. You don't even see yourself eat the last dot. As soon as you get within spitting distance of the last dot, it just resets everything for the next stage. I was pretty close to being dead there. Yeah, I can really only distinguish the green ghost from the others, color-wise. And I haven't really noticed if they do, like in the arcade, each different color ghost retreats to a separate corner, its own unique corner of the maze, but that... Oh, please. Its hitbox killed me through the... Oh, now I'm just losing it. 1938, what a year. Its hitbox killed me through the power pellet. I was clear on the other side of the power pellet, and the ghost... Its aura killed me. Okay, that was probably pretty close to me being dead, too. Ow! Yeah, you can't get anywhere near these darn ghosts. I'm not going to set it to crawling ghost level, though. I can stay on running ghost, because I'm a tough guy. That's me. My ghosts run at me. Like runner aliens. Oh no, it's the box. Get my tasty treat box. Aha! That bop bop sound when you eat a ghost is so wild. So I could have been playing this in 1982 at 6 years old, possibly. I was playing it when I was a kid. I have a feeling it was probably closer to 3rd grade, but it could have been 1st grade. I'm not sure. And that would have been 82, so if I was disgusted by it, maybe I was part of the cause of the video game crash. I was so disgusted by it, I decided right then and there that Atari VCS, I mean, we just called it Atari, was a trash system, and I don't remember going around and encouraging everybody to dump their Ataris and never buy Atari games again, but maybe I just forgot that part. Yeah, I have no idea what stage I'm on. 2,800 points, though. Oh man, the flickering is sort of scary. They really don't come after you sometimes in your little box. Oh, they're really good at running, though. Dang. I'm getting 1 point at a time now. I can't... Oh, come on! The green ghost got me. I can tell that much. I love how those dots around on the left and right of the ghost house are slightly out of position. Like they don't line up with the dots above and below them. It's kind of amazing. And the ghost house is only big enough to show the ghosts in one single position. Like it's so tight inside their house they can't even move in this game. Big money. I love the eating sounds. Bonk, 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 bonk. Reset. 3,800 points. Look how fast the blinkers are going now. Come on. Yeah, I ate you backwards. Oh, shoot, they got me good. Wow, the melting animation is wild. Oh, no, you can't do that. You can't go up to the right. You're just dead. Their hitbox will catch you. Oh, no. 4073. All right, well, let's check out the other ones. I think this is the one I like the most, though. This crazy negative color when the game is over. They had to use, I guess, whatever tricks they could to fit it in 4K. Okay, now, it's also annoying in this collection that all the games share the same settings, so I don't want to filter on for the other ones because they don't flicker as bad. So that this one is next chronologically. That logo is kind of cool. So this is funny. You can... the difficulty is just picking a different fruit, basically. So I guess you're basically starting on a later level, kind of, if you want to. I'm just starting on the regular first level, which is cherry. So notice how you don't have a blue ghost, you have a green ghost. Did they just keep that from the 2600 version? I mean, what was the deal? They must have been able to do a different... They could have done a light blue, couldn't they? Here? There's no flicker going on. It would have been easy enough to distinguish, right? But anyway, green ghost, and... Of course, much more arcade-like graphics and sound, but... Oh, so the color when you eat things is also green instead of light blue. Maybe they couldn't do a light blue for some reason. But the other thing is that it's just pretty slow. I mean, Pac-Man, even in the arcade on the first level, is pretty darn slow, but... I'm pretty sure this is slower than that. The ghosts move really slow when they're running. Oh, well, that was boneheaded. Another thing, and I'm sure it didn't do this in the 2600 version, but like one thing that I was pointing out recently in the GBA versions from 2001, in their full screen mode, they they felt sluggish, and it was driving me crazy. I couldn't quite figure out why, because like I timed it with a stopwatch, and Pac-Man moved at the correct speed on a straight line, but it was actually turned out to be cornering was incorrect, because in arcade Pac-Man, when Pac-Man turns a corner, he gets a little kick ahead by a pixel or so. Just a little spurt of movement, faster, farther than he would have been in a straight line. But in this game, you don't get that little burst of speed around a corner. Notice how I wasn't dead there, because the hitboxes on these ghosts aren't crazy like they are in the 2600 version. And you do have some ghost sound going even when they're not blue, which is more arcade-like. So I mean, this definitely, you could look at this and say, oh yeah, this is just like a slightly wider version of the arcade game. And you've got the actual fruits. Uh-oh. Wow, they surrounded me good. So yeah, I read something. I think it was some guy in a YouTube video or something going through the games in this collection. He was saying in this DLC, and he was saying that on the Atari 800 version, oh man, I almost did it again. The ghosts, like the pink and the red ghosts, didn't really chase him. I can't say I'm noticing that. I still have problems getting around Clyde to get to fruit, so that's like the arcade version. How do I... Oh, I have to hit start. One thing, what was I looking at? Oh, so you can, speaking of a wide, the screen being a bit wide, you can actually switch to, like 16:9 widescreen wide if you want to stretch it, but that's something sickos do. And like I was saying, oh man, start just resets. Okay. So you can set it to original, but that just makes it smaller. It's still just about as blurry. Like I've taken screenshots and zoomed in on them in Photoshop and compared, and it's still pretty much the same level of blurriness, so that kind of sucks. They should have just had a turn off bilinear filtering option, but nope. Thanks, Digital Eclipse. Thanks, Atari. Yeah, stage 1 definitely feels a bit slower than the arcade, which was already pretty slow. Wasn't it some other port I was looking at recently that had a green ghost that I thought was pretty cool? Oh man, I'm so slow, I didn't even get close to the fruit. Maybe I just was looking, I know at some point I looked at like a compilation video of all versions of Pac-Man, and probably where I saw the green Atari ghosts or something. That's just what I'm probably thinking of. I don't know. I'd have to watch it again, I guess. See if there's green ghosts in any other versions. But yeah, not seeing this problem. Some guy was saying in this 800 version that the pink and red ghost didn't chase him. Like, pink pinkies right on me there. Oh, they got me. The two of them sandwiched me. They're definitely chasing me. I'm just a pink and red sandwich. I was looking at the strawberry in the lower left thinking, look at that chunky strawberry, and then it showed up there, and I was too slow to get it. Oh, my chunky strawberry. I've been stuffing myself on this, like, ultra hardcore natural made bread I've been trying this week. That's why I'm like having trouble talking and breathing, because I'm just stuffed with rough milled grains. Like they don't even reduce the grains to a flour powder, they just grind them up. Then there's like no preservatives, so you have to find it. You only can find it in the freezer section of the supermarket. Oh man, it's hilarious, but it's kind of tasty. And no added sugars, so that's cool. It's actually, the recipe is taken from a biblical verse, which, I mean, I'm not religious, but I guess back in the Old Testament times, they didn't hold with no added sugars or preservatives in the fruit, in the bread, so yeah, I'm down with that. I can get with that. Not so much with the religious part, but, you know, natural foods, that's cool. Anyway, yeah, I gotta be careful how much of that stuff I eat, apparently, because it's like super filling. I'm all used to this fake commercial bread that apparently has a glycemic index higher than table sugar or something. Anyway, I wonder what kind of glycemic index these dots have. I wonder if they still call them wafers for this version. They're not as rectangular anymore. Uh-oh. Am I still eating wafers here? Like communion wafers? Was Atari Pac-Man, was he religious? And the scoring is more along the lines of the arcade version. I do kind of like that whacking off the tens digit though, you know? Why do you need a 0 on the end all the time? That's just made to make you feel better about your score. Oops. Oh, I ain't getting nowhere. So this is like stage 4 and it still feels pretty slow. What am I doing? Just begging ghosts to come and excite me. Let's eat some friggin' dots. Oh shoot, I thought there was a power pellet over there. Dope. I wonder if this... Oh, we just did get a bit of a speed boost here. I mean... wonder if the slowness would make this easier or harder, though. Like, it just feels a little difficult to handle at this speed. There is, of course, some input lag, which that doesn't help. I know that from the GBA versions. It's a funny looking apple. I pushed down. I swear I pushed down. Oh. Oh, you want a piece of this? Oh, I couldn't. That's how laggy the control is. I couldn't even turn around fast enough to avoid eating the last dot. I didn't push. I would have had to push down, like, before I even ate the power pellet, probably. Oops. All right, well, let's skip ahead to the 5200 version. So they didn't make an Atari 7800 version. I wonder if... Oh, maybe the 7800 wasn't out in 82. That's probably what the deal was. So 5200. So it's supposed to be faster. And you're supposed to get cutscenes. Yeah, it feels faster. Looks faster. I mean, it doesn't, still got input delay, so I guess it doesn't feel faster in that sense. Oh my gosh, you can't, oh, well, so yeah, it caught me on the corner. Why did it catch me on the corner? Because there's no speed boost at the corners like you're supposed to have, like the arcade version has. And that was what I hated about the Game Boy versions. Or the GBA 2001 versions, anyway. I say that because actually it was Digital Eclipse who made a, I think 2004, 2005 GBA. It was the Namco Museum 50th Anniversary Edition on GBA that has both Pac-Man and Ms. Pac-Man in sort of a more emulated rather than adapted form. And I'm not sure if that version has like input delay, so I've been trying to distinguish between them. Man, this is stage 1 and they're faster than me. That ain't right. That's just all wrong. And there's no selecting. Oh wait, didn't it say there were 8 different skill levels on the box? Oh, well that's what it, oh, so, How do I reset to the title screen? Yeah, maybe I can hit a shoulder button? Hit some buttons together? No? Glarf. Okay, so let's try this game. So I guess this is what it means by 8 different levels here. So you can push the right bumper. Oh, left bumper does that. Right bumper goes to... So if I set it up to key, do we just start at a key? Yes, you just start at a later level is all that does. That's not really... Like, how did it try to... Look at that controller, man. Oh, it's an Atari logo instead of a Galaxian. That's funny. The Cherries level is a good choice for beginning Pac-Man players. At certain points between game levels, Pac-Man provides halftime cartoon entertainment. Relax and enjoy the show. The bell is pink. Oh, take some notes. Write down your scores. So, but didn't it... Ah... These sound effects. Wait. Okay. 8 skill levels. Arcade sounds. Hey, what was I thinking it said? I don't even remember. What the heck was I thinking it said? Is it something on the... Oh, I don't know. I'm just having a senior moment, apparently. Ah, go. Oh, maybe I was still thinking of the 8 levels. So, anyhow, that was half of my brain not realizing what the other half was doing. Probably. Oh man, they're faster than me. No corner speed boost. See, it feels kind of normal in the 2600 version because it's just so primitive looking, but here, and because it just plays so different anyway, but here you're really missing that cornering speed. Ugh. Well, it does feel like I pull ahead a little bit at the corners. I wonder if the ghosts were just made to go extra slow on corners. Doesn't really look like it. Qu'est-ce que c'est? What the heck, Red Ghost? Where are you going? He never does that. Not in other versions, like not on Atari. That background sounds pretty hardcore in this one. Oh my gosh. Wait, Red just cruised straight by without even blinking? Uh-oh. Wow. Oh, Pac-Man sounded extra sad when he melted there. Like a crying dog. Okay, yeah, go through there. What? I caught up with him just... I don't know, man. The speeds are all crazy in this game. Nothing moves at the right speed. Ah, I pushed up. Okay, I ain't taking that. We're starting over. But, you know, maybe it's kind of a thing where when the designer is so constrained that they can't possibly recreate the arcade game, and that basically frees them to essentially make their own game, even if it's based, you know, at the very most abstract level that can actually be envisioned on a computer screen, still based on the original, but they can still do kind of a lot of their own stuff. That's where you get something more interesting, whereas here, where it's sort of close enough to get sort of close to something vaguely resembling the arcade version, well, more than vaguely, that it starts to be a little less satisfying, like you're getting closer and closer to that uncanny valley. Wow, you're so much faster than them in the tunnel. Whereas you can kind of just look at the Atari 2600 thing as its own game, you know. Like, people slagged it off as a bad port, but if they just... And I think some of the discussion I was reading about it sort of pointed this out. What was I... That, you know, if you just look at it as its own game, it's kind of a fun game. Oh, I think that was on Wikipedia. Some of the reviewers were saying, well, you know, it's kind of fun, but it's terrible representation of the arcade Pac-Man. It's like, well, okay, I guess. I mean, I guess, you know, we're at this privileged point now where you can run arcade Pac-Man on just about anything anyway, so what's more interesting now is having these weird... Oh my gosh, he's so fast. It's stage 2 and he's so fast. It's more interesting to have these weird things that aren't really Pac-Man in the traditional sense. I can't... Okay. Straight into pursuit mode. Oh, cartoon intermission. The sound. Pac-Man was pretty good approximation of being round there. Why am I hanging out down there? That was rather foolhardy. That peach probably looks exactly like the apple, except different colors. Oh. Jeez. Oh, that wasn't so great. Pursuit mode, activate. Oh, duh. I can't hit turns, man. It's a little tough to input stuff. Yeah, no corner speed boost. Just without that, Pac-Man just loses its grace. You're just slogging through the maze. Oh no. Oh no. Yeah. Pac-Man without corner boost ain't no fun. I learned that trying to play the GBA games in their full screen modes. You do pull a little ahead, but only on certain corners. Like, what's the deal with that? God. Going for it. Hey. The timing of everything is off. Sort of encapsulates a lot of the difference between, like, Western and, or at least American and Japanese game design, maybe. I mean, I guess one example doesn't prove anything, but whereas so much of what makes Pac-Man is the specific timing and speed of these little things, and these American designers just completely didn't catch that or something. Like, it's like, well, it's got the ghosts, it's got the dots, it's got sounds that are pretty close to the sounds. I mean, it's got the colors, except for green is here instead of blue, but what do you want? It's like, I mean, it's got the stuff, it's Pac-Man, right? It's like, well, the timing and speed of everything is just not correct. Like, why didn't you get the timing and speeds right? That's not like a hardware limitation. Like, well, it's close enough. What do you, I mean, it's got the ghosts. Like, okay, sure. You've made a joyless imitation of a, you know, graceful game. Whereas with the 2600 version, there was no way he was going to get it to feel like the arcade version anyway, so he's just like, oh, I'll just do whatever, and at least it has some heart to it, some creativity behind it. Oh my gosh, I saw that was going wrong, but I couldn't get the inputs to go through. Could have sworn I told it to go down. Still, oh my gosh, that crazy health bread's got me good. It's too filling. I'm used to my cheap bread that's just like eating air. Even though it calls itself wheat bread. And it gets burned up in like 2 seconds. I could eat a whole loaf of that stuff and still be hungry an hour later. Eat. Oh no. Oh my gosh, the corner kills. The joyless corner kills. Ugh. God, all these American ports of Pac-Man with crummy cornering. Come on. Hey, Nolan Bushnell. How did you guys miss the corner? How did you screw up the cornering so bad? Laugh that off. Uh-oh. Ooh, okay, nope. I still screwed it up and couldn't turn around fast enough. I'll blame it on input delay. 22,990. This one actually does keep a high score, at least between credits. Wait. No cherry for me. Too slow. Wait. I got a cherry though. Like, why did they make it so wide? I guess they just felt like people would feel like you were wasting too much screen space otherwise. The same reason why people now would take this and stretch it to 16:9 wide, because they don't want to waste their screen as they might see it. Oh my gosh, he's gonna get me at the corner. Ah! I can't play this anymore. We're just gonna quit. Ugh. 8 video games. Oh, I didn't. Oh, so this is the default. This is slow Pac-Man and what does it call it? Jogging ghosts? These are the jogging ghosts. Probably, let's see. Yeah. Let's get the running ghosts. And fast Pac-Man. See, like, I mean, this has some speed, it's got some wacky sound effects. You know, he's doing what he could do with the hardware. Making it as fun as he could. Not a slave to just copying the original. I love backwards eating. Oh no, my square treat. Oh, I knew it. Oh, it's still there. Wow. it stays when you die, unlike the fruit in the arcade game. That's kind of cool. Get my wafers. I thought he was going to go up. Why did I think that? Because that would have been convenient for me. Yeah, eating all your dots, Ghost. What are you going to do about it? This is a fun game. I bet a lot of the people who got this game were like having fun with it, man. I don't think this led to a crash. I mean, the crash happened, but I don't think you can pin it on this game. Ah, dang it. Oh, wait, you can't do that. Oh, wait, you can't do that either. Oh, no. I want my treat. Oh. Ugh, what am I doing? These ghosts are mean. Oops. The flickering ghosts probably aren't the best thing for me to be looking at, but it doesn't seem to be bothering my silly eyeballs too much. Oh, but I could just reset it by hitting start. I guess I could turn the filter back on. That just kind of covers up some of the flicker. I don't think it's simulating any kind of phosphor delay or anything, which would have reduced the flicker. You didn't think of that though, did you, Digital Eclipse? You're trying to make Ted Fry or whatever his name is look bad, not showing his phosphors. The phosphors he would have been designing this for. I love eating backwards. I love the reset as soon as you get close to the last dot. Sometimes you get closer to it, though. Oh, dang it. Wow, that stayed there for a long time, thankfully. That ghost did not reverse direction when I ate the power pellet, like even in later stages of Pac-Man where ghosts don't even turn blue when you eat the power pellet, they still reverse direction, so that's something that did not get kept here. Oh man, threw the power pellet again. That's one thing that seems a bit off, is the ghost hurt box is just crazy. Ooh, wow. They just all followed me over there straight as a bunch. They don't follow no rules coming out of the ghost house. That's nuts. Why did I go over there? I had 4 lives. Did I see a quote from Iwatani about this version? Somewhere. Dang. Oh, shit. Oh, no. Oh, this is where it just gets crazy. Oops. God. And the other thing that's not so great is just the general input delay. Can we call that Atari hard? I mean, I don't know if it applies to all Atari games, but it seemed to be there when I was looking at Miss Pac-Man. Oh my gosh, through the power pellet, they killed me. You better run, you punks. Oh. Dang, just caught me. Just too fast. Already converging on me as I was going through the tunnel. Converging on the exit. Backwards eating. Oh my gosh. They just attack in packs. I totally ditched them at the end. Look how fast they run. Wow. Just flickering around. It's really hard to track them. Whoa. He flickered all the way through me, kind of. Oh, jeez. Flanked. Oh, shoot. I couldn't get anywhere. Oh, my gosh. Ah, God. 4753. Didn't I have slightly higher than that once before? Before I moved on to the next version. But it just gets ridiculous at that level. But it's probably why I preferred the Miss Pac-Man 2600 version over the later versions too, and the brief look I had at them was just, it was also its own thing. Junior Pac-Man, though, seemed a bit off. It's like these huge mazes and this kind of funky, very dark color palette. That was another thing I read about this version, was something about... I don't remember if it was the programmer guy or somebody else, but somebody saying that... Somebody official kind of saying that Atari had a guideline about colors where you couldn't use black as the background except for outer space. So if you had a black background, it had to be outer space. So that's why they used a blue background for this version of Pac-Man, because black was not allowed, since I guess they figured Pac-Man canonically is not in outer space. So I guess we know that much. Yeah. Uh-oh, no more power pellets. Uh-oh. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no, I missed my turn. Okay. I swear that pattern of eating sounds made it sound like laughing. What? He turns around when he eats a ghost. That's weird. I eat you. Oh boy. Oh boy. I got 5 lives. Those are gonna start draining now. Eep. Dang. Oh. I died trying to get the thing there, like I die for fruit. Oh man, there's dots under where the tasty treat is. I forgot about that. I knew it. I knew I hesitated too long as soon as I pushed the D-pad to just start moving. Oh no. Got it. Dad, damn it. Yeah, I guess it's just at the end of the power pellet effect that the other power pellets flash red. That's funny. It's like they share an energy field. A big bunch of ghosts. Hello. Yeah, happy to see me. Oh no. Oh wow, I got lucky. Oh, don't do that. Oh no. Guy's on my case, or two of them are on my case. They just milled away from me. So that was worth 100 points, the center thing there. Ooh. Oh, phooey. Phooey patootie. Ah, the jeepers. Shoot, I shouldn't have tried around there. Oh my gosh. Bushwhacked. Kind of terrifying when they're on the other side of a wall than you, because these are thin walls and they're just like right there raging away at flickery light speed. Oh god. Oh. There's the treat. No, I shouldn't have gone that way. No, I did it again. Ah. God. It's dying times here. They almost got me there, too. Shoot. I just couldn't get over there. They're too fast. 6,607. Well, that game is pretty fun. Hopefully it doesn't start roasting my subconscious and making me go get into dumping original Atari 2600 cartridges or anything, but oh, darn you, biblical bread. 6607 in Pac-Man for the 2600 or for the VCS. What a video computer system. What did that even stand for? We just called it Atari. CX2646. Special bearhead feature. Pac-Man licensed by Namco America. Package, program, and audio visual. Copyright 1981 Atari Incorporated. It's your job to keep Pac-Man as happy as possible. Wow, you just have to pleasure Pac-Man. I like how they modeled like a little corner indentation there. That's kind of weird. It doesn't even say, oh yeah, okay, well it has the Atari logo and it says Atari in the lower left, but it doesn't say, like I would have expected it would just say Atari in like big letters across the top or something, but maybe at this point they just like, they were so dominant that they didn't even have to do that. Like they say Atari at the top there, but by that time they had multiple systems and they did have to distinguish because they were confusing the customer base. Although I suppose the systems had like, probably had different color schemes in general then, right? Like, let's see. Okay, all sort by platform. So 2600s, well no, they're all over the place. Like originally they were these solid colors. Back when there was just the one system. 2005, what? 1977, look at that art though, that's cool. Except for the fact that it's death machines. So that was 83. But by 83 there was a 5200 because the 5200 version of Pac-Man was already out. So that one's a different design. And of course these are, for the most part, Atari published games, probably. Oh, then we got the 7800. Well, yeah, I mean, I guess that's a pretty different layout. Links. And you just go for this kind of ruled paper, you know, boring design because we're a computer. We're serious. Not that they kept that for all of them. And the Jaguar's just like, rawr, do whatever. Oh, man. Ruin. Trevor McFur. So anyway, that was mostly Pac-Man for the original Atari home system. That darn TV commercial.
First the Pac-Man eats through a maze of dots, then the Pac-Man heads for the corner spots, then he eats his fill of a power.
That kid's mouth looked like Pac-Man.
All those ghosts turn blue, boo, and Pac-Man eats them all too.
Only Atari
The
makes
flicker
Pac-Man
there
home
looks
video game,
a lot
and you
different.
can only play it on an Atari video game system.
Have you played Atari today?
Oh, that was psycho how that spelled out.
First the Pac-Man eats
Wait,
through a maze of dots.
wait.
First the Pac-Man
How do
eats through a maze of dots.
I can't hide the player interface.
Corner spots, then he eats his fill of a power pill. And then all those ghosts turn blue, boo, and Pac-Man eats them all too.
Only Atari makes the Pac-Man home video game.
Dad is just
and
like
you can only play it on
punching the
Atari
air
video
in
game
excitement.
Have you played Atari today?
I gotta watch this again because that family is wild. Like, watch the parents, they're just going crazy.
Eats through a maze of dots, then the Pac-Man heads for the corner spots, then he eats his fill of a
Mom was just watching her son, like, this psychotic look on her face.
and Pac-Man eats them all too.
Only Atari makes the Pac-Man home video game, and you can only play it on an Atari video game system.
Atari today.
The sister was just like a broken person by the end. Wow. Well, Pac-Man was kind of a big deal. In the early 80s. 8 billion cartridges, couldn't be wrong. It's a fun game, man. It's not your regular Pac-Man, but it's fun. Those later versions, not so fun. You really miss the corner speed boost on those, and they're just like, those are terrible versions of the arcade game. I mean, just not good versions anyway. The 2600 one, it's its own thing. It's pretty fun, actually. The flickering ain't great, admittedly. And the crazy hitbox size on the Ghost, but whatever. Well, probably gonna go ahead and uninstall Atari 50, but that was fun to check that out, I guess. I don't know. I don't think Atari 2600 Pac-Man's all that bad, actually. Give it a chance. The flickering probably ain't good for anybody's eyeballs, I suppose. Like, no, I'm not gonna. Maybe I shouldn't inflict this on YouTube, but I guess there's plenty of other videos of it. I don't know. Anyway, well, thanks for watching. I hope your eyes recover. Next Pac episode will almost certainly be the Neo Geo Pocket 1 in scrolling mode. Thanks for watching this. Whatever. See you later. Bye.